out of the way. But the whole learning was through actual construction, through constantly making and using your hands as a type of thinking tool. This year I want to go, we're quite lucky Louise is joining us to bring maybe a younger view on it, should I say, which comes from her own history, which I'll let her talk a little bit about.
So through direct contact with our environments, we're interested in seeking hidden and unsuspected identities with storytellers. We enjoy to discover narratives both through personal experiences and through what you'll see in the city. So very much remake and make a little bit more to uncover different material possibilities, not just in aesthetics, but application, limitations. And also it's a process, so it's never a finished piece of work, but a transitional approach to the brief and to all the development of your own brief. We're not a unit bound by a certain media, but it's just whatever suits how you're developing and how your story unfolds.
Just to talk, this was quite an explicit project, and I said this Jonathan 2 years ago in Estonia, and he got completely immersed in the forest. He started by wanting to bomb the whole thing down, and through actually working with explosives, he got interested in the whole idea of fusion of materials. So he used everything from the forest, the trees, the clay, anything to create this new community he imagined 50 years of type of survivalist. And just say this, because I'm talking about curiosity, he discovered he could bake buildings by using everything, and he built these scaffolds, and then at the end he lit fire to the scaffold, and the building, which that's a test model, actually would form around that. Just a hint.
So last year there was a second workshop, and this was based in Moscow. And here the take was less about walking because you're in the city, but it was about narrative, it was about performing. So here the students, and it will be somewhat similar this year, work together in groups with students from other countries and schools to map, analyze the city, and then to make performances in the city itself, engage with people. So these are examples and questions. I quite like this one. This was a fascist symbol, a Stasi symbol, which was all over the city, and in the end, that particular group changed it into either a flower or a heart. So this is a couple of students from last year. This is Karim, who took on the role of a 1990s young socialist architect, as if the war hadn't happened in its second stage. So she took on the rebuilding of Mostar from a socialist point of view. So to do this from a utopian socialist point of view, she had to put her mind back into the architecture of the period and work within that. And so what she's doing is adapting Richter's drawings and then speculating on a much bigger structure that is actually a rocket. It's a very long story, I'm happy to tell you later. Let's just give you a flavour.
2 minutes, Prof.
I'm going to show you very quickly something by Johnny, which is a film he made. I won't show all of it, just to give you an idea of another way of making architecture, which was filmmaking. some images about each of us. I think we'll speed through really quickly. I'm based in London. I'm sort of 80% of my time practicing architect. We do ecological urbanism, we build new builds, we do public buildings. I also do a lot of research. I'm really interested in Asia. I'll be going there this year. This is some of my teaching. I've taught many places across the world.
And just briefly, I'm from something quite different than London. A place with 9 million turkeys, 900 people. Came from there, ended up school, doing something like this, didn't know what to do, so went to Berlin. They told me to build 190 houses, and I asked me, good, can you do 340? Yeah, fine. Can you do 7,000? So that was my graduation process. This is where I met Nicholas, project in The Hague, very quickly. Nowadays I've worked for 17 years with a guy called Robert Dye. We do houses, quite nice houses in London. That's our sort of day-to-day butter and bread.
So you may recognise this. I'm from 10 minutes up the road. Spent most of my childhood trying to figure out why my next door neighbour had a shark in his roof. I actually studied here at Oxford Brookes, both undergrad and postgrad. Postgrad was with Professor Andrew Holmes, who I'm sure most of you had the pleasure of getting to know in your specialisations. Since then, I have been working for Wilkinson Air on this project for the last 5 years, literally dragging it, kicking and screaming out of the ground. Yeah, it's a high-end residential in King's Cross.
That's something you did.
Yeah, that was
This is about stretching imagination, right?
Yeah, so basically, guys, we want to leave your convention at the door. We want to flex your architectural imaginations.
Cool.
This, very quickly, Toby.
Yes.
Everyone else can dress up. This is how we see the unit. Basically, no, it's quite serious. We see the unit as a type of collective brain, so that people we're working with, but amongst each other. The conversation is much with us as with you, but out of that sort of collective thinking, we expect you to come up with your own projects. And it's very much a thesis type of unit where we expect you to have an idea, a thesis, and you drive your own project. You learn for yourselves. We're there always to help and guide. So,
Okay.
and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.